Margaret the Cahirley, and Minister, here we go again, you know. And I had somebody in my office this week, a young woman full of enthusiasm, that there was a new movement on the ground, and I actually held my head in exhaustion at the enthusiasm that is completely unaligned with what actually this government and every government has done. I'm looking at thank you to Sinn Féin once again, and obviously they must extend the ban on evictions. Now, if we were seriously interested in dealing with homelessness, that's the most basic step we would take, wouldn't it? And again, I've pointed out repeatedly, as I walk here to the Dáil from my hotel, I'm passing people sleeping on the street. Imagine I'm becoming immune to that. Imagine I'm walking past 4, 6 people, and the birds are playing around with the basic ingredients of life that they have, these people. And I'm looking, I'm saying, what is happening to me? What am I doing colluding with this? And I try not at every stage. And I use every opportunity to speak, to say there's something seriously wrong. And so the figures are here, and they're rising all of the time, aren't they? 11,632 children. And as the Sinn Féin motion go on to say, that includes 3,442. But it doesn't include all the other homelessness that are not recognised as homeless. And so I'm saying, I've been here since 16, and other than health and public transport, this is the topic I've spoken most on, over and over. And foolishly then I relaxed a little bit when a task force was set up, a task force in relation to Galway back in 2019. And it was to set out to furnish an annual report. And I foolishly thought they were going to look at the problem in Galway, which is worse, certainly equally as bad as Dublin, with little focus on it. And here was the task force with high-level people on it. And I thought they'd be coming back with reports. And do you know what the junior minister told me lately? And I complimented him. I congratulated him on his honesty. He said, Kieran O'Donnell, Minister O'Donnell, I have not received the report referred to in my reply. I understand it's in preparation. This is for 21 and 22 from an emergency task force in Galway that was set up to look at the reasons. And the minutes that I have go back to May 22. And the last letter I have, and it's a very detailed letter, but not a report, not an analysis, but it tells me, this is from Geraldine Tallon, Chairperson Galway Social Housing Task Force. Notwithstanding the efforts made by both authorities, despite the difficulties, it has to be recognised that the overall achievement falls far short of social housing need and of the annual average housing demand which you defined. And it goes on, I have it underlined, and I have 2 minutes left, so I can't read the rest of it out, but it's all set out here that they're not achieving their targets despite their best efforts. And you say, what is the result of that? Well, Simon helpfully tells us every quarter, they tell us, and we're due another one now in March. And they told us in their 28th snapshot over 3 days, and they looked at Galway. And this is the first snapshot where they didn't find a single property that was available under the HAP. Ordinary HAP rates are under the discretionary HAP rates. And Galway City distinguished itself where we have 2-bedroomed houses for 3,000 a month. I mean, just listen. 3,000 a month. I saw an ad in the paper yesterday or at the weekend in relation to a tiny bit of land in Claddagh where I live, and we have the auctioneer telling us it was wonderful, and it was really it was a significant little tiny piece of land, I'd say smaller than where the women are sitting here in front of me. An astronomical price, and we're being fed the same thing that we were fed for the last 10, 15 years. And so, what would I like? I certainly don't like standing up here complaining. I certainly don't like taking every God-given minute I can get to talk on this. There's so many other topics that I would like to talk on. But you're heading for continuous disaster when you keep fiddling with the market, keeping prices artificially high through all the schemes that you've brought in. And various ministers stand up and say the Help to Buy scheme, it's a total disaster. All of the evaluations have confirmed it's a total disaster. The mortgage to rent scheme, no analysis done, no business case. We have no idea what money has been paid over to the voluntary bodies or the one private company that's there. But we're told the government is now going to get more private companies under expressions of interest. What is the solution? Actually act on the emergency and use public housing, public land for public housing. That's what we need. That's not what's happening in Galway. We're fiddling with different sites to have a mix. I'm allergic to this language of a mix. We have lots of land in the harbour area by a private company held for us in trust. And they're negotiating with the land agency in relation to mixes, which is keeping the prices of houses up. Sorry, Cahill Cormac.